Woe to you, O earth and sea.
It's the Hop Nation
USA Podcast. Welcome back to episode 170 of the Hop Nation USA Podcast. That's a whole bunch of podcasts.
That is way too many podcasts.
It's not too many, Adam. What the hell's wrong with you? We've only done 170. Joe Rogan's up to like 3,004.
Yeah, he also gets paid a lot more than we do.
Sure does. But we have to get to 3,004, and then we'll check our bank account, and if it's bad, then we'll stop.
Yeah, we don't have the juice to just say, you know what, I'm moving to Texas.
Right.
And then move to Texas for tax purposes.
Well, and any other purposes.
Well,
California is burning down.
Fair point.
And you can't do comedy. So those are two things that, he enjoys, and that's why he went to Texas.
I'm still claiming it's because of the taxes.
Sure. That's a number 3 on that list.
All right.
Alamo Drafthouse would be number 4 if the theaters were open.
Wish we had one of those.
There's Virginia, I think, is the closest one.
Well, just pop on down there for an evening.
Just saying.
10 hours. Have fun.
But yes, it is episode 170. I'm your host, Steve, and you already heard my co-host, Adam.
Yes, we've already been complaining at each other, as is tradition.
Yes, and if you're listening, you can tell the audio quality isn't the bestest. That means we're on a Zoom call, and that means we do have a guest, though, to compensate.
Yes.
And this week, our guest is Bill.
Hi.
If that doesn't make any sense to you, let's rephrase that. And for most listeners, you may know him as @CansPgh, the curator and cultivator of all new releases in the Pittsburgh area.
That's me. Creator and cultivator makes it sound so much more important than it is. I'm literally going to put that on my business card when I get one.
Yeah.
You are the straw that stirs the drink.
I try. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's me. I post on Twitter, and I used to post on Instagram, but not so much anymore. But yeah, I usually get drunk and make lots of bold statements on Twitter late at night. Mainly, I would assume people know me from at this rate.
That sounds very similar to what Steve does.
Yeah, and I don't have to be drunk to do that either. I make bold statements anytime.
That's an or statement.
Yeah, it's kind of my occupation since quarantine began. As a drunken rambler on the internet.
Well, I mean, we've got 3 beer drinkers here, so I guess we should talk about what beers we're drinking right now.
Yeah.
So Bill, you are our guest. We'll let you lead off. What are you drinking? Where'd you get it? How do you like it?
I love it. I am drinking Painter Pigment by Dancing Gnome, which I may have stated once or twice before might be my favorite beer of all time, I think. And it's currently in season, so there you go.
Very nice. Very nice. Steve, how about yourself? What do you got going on?
I am also drinking something that's PGH local and in a can. I'm drinking the Double Bane of Existence by Hitchhiker.
Double Bane is a good one for sure. Yeah, look how fancy it looks.
Very nice.
It is. I put a lot of fancy time into my photography.
I'm liking the backlighting you got going on with that thing.
Mm-hmm. You got to make it look epic.
Yes.
It's got this crazy nebula design on the label, but also it is a 9% double IPA.
Woo.
Yeah, that'll kick your ass, that one.
Yeah. Full disclosure on this, I started drinking this way before the show. Just
all right.
Just so it had a little bit more time to set and steep, so I'm not chugging it through one segment.
I like it.
I'll admit I've been burned by that once or twice as well. Just trying to hammer through something to get to the next one for the next segment. It does not turn out well.
Yeah, not great.
No.
The beer on the other hand is very great. Big, flavorful, and obviously if you're watching on our video element, it looks like juice.
Yes, very much so.
Correct.
Yeah, just frothy juice. So, Adam, what are you drinking?
So I have something that is local. I have something that is a can, and I have something that is quite seasonal. It is the Rivertowne Oktoberfest lager. decided to get it on this because, I mean, it is middle of September. It should be Oktoberfest right now. We should all be down at the Hofbrauhaus lifting our liters and making fools of ourselves. But unfortunately, we can't, so we won't. So I have the Rivertowne Oktoberfest here. It's like every other Oktoberfest. It's good. I drink more of it.
Can we recorrect that to the Penn Brewery and lifting our milk jugs?
Yes, we can.
Let's keep it local and not promote the giant chain.
All right, that's fine. All right, the half-gallon milk jugs of the Penn Oktoberfest.
There you go.
I'm going to make a fool of myself at either one, so.
Yes, both.
Sometimes in the same night.
The nice thing about Oktoberfest is it lasts a week and you have time to do both places.
Yes, and recover in between.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it. Our guest this week is Bill, and he is known as CansPgh, and he is the curator of new releases and obviously just a general fan of Pittsburgh craft beer. So let's start with a real easy question for you, Bill. Why craft beer?
I mean, I like craft beer, so the gist of it was, I had been drinking it, and so I started reporting about it, I guess, technically. But why craft beer? I like that it's local, and I like that there's, dudes who are running their own little thing that hated their jobs as much as I hated my job, and we're like, fuck it, let's brew beer. And they're in Sharpsburg or Verona or whatever the case may be. Like, as a born and raised Pittsburgher, that aspect of it was the main beginning driving force, I think, for me seeking out the various different things that were going on around the city. And yeah, that's why craft beer.
I could support that fully and completely.
So you mentioned here in Sharpsburg, so I'm assuming that's where you're located out of?
No, actually. I don't mind driving to Sharpsburg, I guess is what it comes down to. It's not too far. I'm actually out in like West Deer Township, which is the way far northeastern quarter of Allegheny County.
Oh, okay.
Still in Allegheny County, but you would be hard-pressed to think it's not Butler County where I'm at for sure. It's not too far from here.
So what's your closest brewery then?
The closest one since they opened is the Gibsonia Strange Roots. They're not too far.
Okay.
In the township, actually. But Leaning Cask is right down in Springdale, which isn't too far either from where I'm located. So I probably am in the middle of those two breweries, I would say.
I mean, that's a pretty good choice between Leaning Cask and Strange Roots. That's not a bad way to be.
No, there's nothing to complain about. I mean, I'm in a great spot. If it's in the South Hills, then I, as most Pittsburghers, refuse to cross rivers, but it's just like, oh, Christ, I got to go all the way over there. Yeah. So, Millville, Sharpsburg, and Lawrenceville are all well within reasonable driving distance. So, and then the other way to Sarver for cellar works, and then if I have to, like Butler or Zelienople again, you might as well be the South. I visit as many as I can. I don't stay long, and that was in the before times. So you can imagine that I now don't stay at all, and wasn't impacted by the closing of the tap rooms, as I'm not a brewery or someone who really spend much time in the tap rooms beyond, getting pissed I was waiting for cans. It was the gist of it. And so, yeah.
Right on.
I mean, that was going to be one of my questions tonight is like, how has, the tap rooms closing impacting you? Because I'm, in very similar fashion that I haven't been to a brewery to sit down. Like, I just have picked up cans and leave.
Sure.
That's it. And I haven't been to a restaurant either. I just pick up food and leave ever since, even though there's opening.
Yeah, I believe for myself, I have been at one brewery to have a beer. And that was outside at a picnic table, away from everybody else. But beyond that, it's been stopping in, grabbing cans, and turning right back around and leaving again.
it's I don't. I haven't yet done the picnic table. I will probably. Strange Roots, which I mentioned over in Gibsonia, they have a huge outdoor backyard, and 2 or 3 times I've been to grab cans and like got to look at it. It's not nearly as crowded as I would imagine it was going to be, which makes me almost really want to go there. So I'll probably get there sooner than later. But
yeah, it was a similar situation. I went to Helicon in Oakdale, and they have got a nice wide open space that they can use. These people could spread out no problem. And that's pretty much what we did was, all right, this is our table and we're 15 feet away from everybody else. So it's not a problem.
At that point, short of someone who's acting, completely inappropriate, you're probably going to be just fine. But
right.
I was stressed out leading up to this Zoom meeting with you guys, like going out to eat with my kids, like, holy fuck, there's no way, like, I heard a handle it these days. I'm on the fringe, right on the edge. I swear to God, like, it would end me. I wouldn't make it.
So let me ask you this. In terms of the beer itself, during this whole everything, have the types of beers that you've been drinking and trying, has that changed at all? Have you gotten into different styles or discovered any new breweries?
I mean, not really. I would say, like, I've definitely had more time, but I've definitely been doing more drinking, and so I think if there's been alteration of my, preferences, I've sort of lowered the ABV if I can a little bit because I'm drinking more of them, and I figure that's probably for everyone's best interest. Being stuck in the house together.
Yes.
And I mean, I think not even related to, I mean, who could say, I suppose, but I don't think it's related to current events. I've kind of, maybe not tired of, but I've slowed down my drinking on the fruited sours. They're not pastries, sours, but that's what they are. They're like so sugary, it's ridiculous. And they're fun, and I enjoy them, but now I don't buy as many as I used to. But I don't think that's anything to do with the current situation. I think it's just my personal taste waning as
has just been a natural change of taste.
That was happening regardless of what's going on at the present time, and with the falling of the free world.
And let's be honest, with it being summertime, yes, I understand that all weather is stout weather, but it's time for some lighter fare. Until drink what you want. Is first and foremost, I love it. The people always crack me up who try to tell someone what they should drink. I just, there's no winning that argument. You just need to walk away and shake your head. But I'm like, drink the stouts all fucking year long if you want to. If that's your thing. Like, I used to really enjoy the light. Macro stouts, the Guinness of the world, and even Sammy Smith Oatmeal Stout is still near and dear to my heart, no doubt. But I haven't bought a micro brew stout in years. Like I can't remember the last one I bought. Maybe something from Hitchhiker, probably with fucking graham crackers in it or something. I don't Black Cloud selling out isn't something I concern myself with. It's not my personal style or taste. So mainly an IPA guy. So let me ask you this: what are your feelings on the black IPAs?
I've had a few of them. I mean, and they didn't do much for me. And I don't even I will most assuredly sit down and drink a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and enjoy it for what it is. And but I suppose that I should, there's giant stars and asterisks on IPA. What 1,000 versions of IPA are you referring to? And,
right. Nobody knows what an IPA is anymore.
Yeah, it's a very vague term and an easy out as far as I'm concerned. If you just call it an IPA, it's slightly lazy in my personal opinion. But there was a period of time where I still subscribe to it, that IPAs can very easily be lazy brewing. and I mean, I'm not even smart enough to know about the brewing side of it. I just referring to simply the naming factor. Like, you guys made it. Like, is there fucking fruit in it? And like, if there's no sugar in it, all right. Now we got two things we should probably somehow reflect when you write IPA. I'm thinking Sierra Nevada Pale. But and make no mistake, when I just said I'm an IPA guy, I'm talking hazy orange juice looking, juice bombs as they're,
right.
Like they're very far from that Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but by miles and miles. But I still use the term for them. So
I was gonna say, which direction would you go on the IPAs? Would you go more of a West Coast, or would you go more with the New England? But it sounds like you're more of a West Coast guy.
No, see, I'm definitely more of a New England hazy.
Oh.
You weren't even paying attention.
I missed that one.
He said he likes the hazies and orange juice. He's holding up Dancing Gnome. Of course he likes hazy and orange juice.
Much. I am a total fanboy of Dancing Gnome. There's like a delay on the internet with the Zoom. Like, you cut the guy some slack. He's fine. We're good.
I apologize. No, I screwed the pooch on that one.
You're perfectly good. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I like the juicy, sweeter ones that I'm assuming I'm going to, sour on those at some point, and then I'll push back the other way reactively, or, maybe they'll just rot my teeth out, and then I'll just never stop drinking them, and that'll be the end.
So, what is the last, West Coast IPA that you have had, though?
I think Shoe Brew does one with an army guy. I was trying to write down beer names before, so I could talk sounding like I know what I'm talking about, because I don't remember any of them. I have mental images. Jungle Boot?
Jungle Boots.
Jungle Boots.
There you go. Jungle Boot by Shoe Brew was a West Coast IPA. And I will 100% admit I bought it thinking it might be a hazy IPA. I was like, we'll give it a try, because I won't even taste it at the brewery. I'll just buy a 4-pack and leave and get the hell out of there. But that was quite some time ago. That was probably a year or two ago since I last West Coast IPA.
That's funny, because I've avoided buying that one because I thought it was a New England hazy.
There you go.
I'm more of a West Coast style guy, so I just kind of keep blowing past it.
That's the whole point. If you're the dude that made the beer, not you, but the guy, if you just write IPA, who the fuck knows what you're talking about? It's an excellent example where I bought it thinking it was a hazy, and you didn't buy it thinking it was a hazy, and the damn thing was a West Coast IPA. How hard is WCIPA? Make up an acronym like me and then pretend everyone knows what the fuck they're talking about. Run with it,
I mean, at the very least, just include hazy or not hazy, or I don't know. Try to say West Coast. It'll sell better. It's
put a brew by date on your can, for fuck's sake.
Well, yeah, we can have an entire episode just on that.
Yeah, that's like a summit for everybody.
Right.
Just sit down and put the goddamn dates on your cans.
We all come to an agreement how we're gonna do it, what kind of coding we're gonna use.
Move it forward, please.
Yeah.
Love it, God.
Then everybody needs to march on Giant Eagle to make sure they stop putting garbage out that's the same. That's from last year. I could almost guarantee that you could walk into certain Giant Eagles right now, and they would have Southern Tier Pumpkin from last year on the shelves.
You're probably right.
Random cans from Giant Eagle that have just not been the beer that were supposed to be in the can, and I can only assume they sat somewhere underneath a stack of toilet paper for 9 months before it made it.
Some stock boy forgot about it and realized, I should put that out.
For sure.
Yeah, now's the time. Hey, it's back in season. Get it back on the shelves.
Get that money.
Yeah.
Aged year. They can up the price. They aged it for you.
So you've already mentioned that you're a big Dancing Gnome fanboy. Well,
total shill. Should pay me, I feel like. But yeah, no, I pay them on a reg.
Right on. What other breweries in the Pittsburgh or PA area, though, that are you big fans of?
Oh man, there's not many I'm not fans of, to be honest with you. If you're putting it in cans, Cinderlands, I love Hitchhiker, I love, obviously Gnome we mentioned, but even Inner Groove down in Verona makes great beer. Every time I've got stuff from them, the aforementioned Leaning Cask and Cellar Works up in Sarver, Stew Brew, like those pixelated IPAs they do are fantastic. There's not many I don't like, I'll be honest with you. Insurrection Ale Works is great. 4 Points is really good. Grist House, I didn't say yet. Now I'm trying to think who I didn't say.
I say we've kind of come to the same conclusion that it's much easier to list the breweries that we don't like.
Sure. I'd rather not go into that. But yeah,
same here.
Yeah, we don't really do that on this show.
Have one, but for sure, like there's so many, and anytime, and the ones I leave off more than likely isn't because I have something against them. It's because I just haven't made it there yet. Like I think like Abjuration, I made it there like 2 times since they've been open, because McKees Rocks is, I'm sure a lovely place if you're from there, but not the place that I really feel like driving with the wife and kid for instance, or even just by myself. Like there's some places that due to distance or other mitigating circumstances, I just really don't get out to as often enough, or haven't even made it yet. Like Spring Hill Brewery is one that comes to my mind often that I've never tasted their beer. Like they might be on tap places. I don't know, because I don't go to bars or anything. Like if your cans aren't being advertised on the internet, then I don't know you have them, and then therefore I probably haven't tasted your beer unless I ended up there for some other reason. I'd love to get there. It looks like an awesome spot, and like I actually have family. My dad was born and raised on Spring Hill, like back in the 50s or whatever. But yeah, I would love to go visit their spot and sit in their grass and hang out on their picnic tables, because it looks really cool. And their beer makes me their beer makes me slightly nervous in name only. They use ancient bread loaf recipes from the Mayans or some shit to make crazy like tea ales and like I'll try anything if it's only like 4 or 5%, which most of them are fairly light ABV. So I'd like to go, but I haven't made it yet, so I can't add them to my favorite places in Pittsburgh list. But and from any of the others as well.
I say we've kind of run into that because Steve and I are both on the west side of the city. So for us to get over on the east side, getting over into Delmont and getting down to like Bloom Brew and stuff like that, that's a trip to get out there. And we've been lucky enough to have some of those breweries at beer festivals and stuff like that, but to be able to get to the breweries themselves.
So what's like the local one for you guys? Like I'm not trying to like.
So for me, the closest one would be Helicon.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been there. I went to Insurrection once, and like as we were leaving, I was like, we could totally go to this other one. She was like, no, we're going home. I don't know where the hell we are.
I'd say Insurrection is probably the second closest one.
Okay.
Well, I'll walk that back a little bit. Insurrection is probably the second closest active one, but Grist House, second location in Collier Township, they are the second closest to pick up beer.
Sure, no, it's right there. Like when they invited me to come visit their new spot one time, like back a long time ago, actually. Mm-hmm. But not a long time ago, but I mean, it was when they first announced it and had it, and like they were on the news and shit about it. Like it was like one of the first things that ever happened to CansPgh was like this house. It was like, oh, you need to come to our media event. And I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I would definitely come to your new brewery and check it out. Like, yeah. When I went, I thought immediately, I was like, these people who had Insurrection and Helicon are making out like bandits. They're like scoring a giant Grist House. Like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I could tell you that it's going to be more difficult trying to figure out which one to go to, or more importantly, which one to go to first when everything goes back to normal and we can do that.
Yes, no, it's I hope that we get there eventually, but I am probably the least confident person on fucking earth. I'll be honest. Just resigned myself that I'll reside in Animal Crossing exclusively moving forward for the remainder of life.
Well, hey, then when good things happen, then you'll be extra happy because you weren't confident that good things were ever going to happen.
My shrink may say there's something to do with the statement. I like it.
We'll just end up in that cyber world from Ready Player One.
Sure.
So we're gonna have to bone up on all our '80s references.
Exactly.
Do you really have to, Adam? I mean,
No, not really.
that's all you live in. Your all your references stop at 2003. So
Yeah, because that's when the good times stopped.
I don't disagree with this guy. I'm gonna roll. So I'm with him.
Yeah, 2003 was when the body started aching, and that's when, waking up the next morning after tying one on started to hurt a lot more.
2003, I was 18.
I was not.
That's so sad.
Sorry.
You're gonna depress
every day.
You're gonna depress everybody being old.
All right. Quit being ageist.
Yeah. No. It's cool to be ageist.
All right. Let's.
Nah, it's cool.
Happens to us all.
Damn it! So much. All right. Well, what do you guys? We'll wrap this segment up a little bit, but let's go back to the beers we were trying.
Yes.
For this segment, Steve, how was the what was that? The double Bane you were drinking?
Back to the double burn. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. I don't know what you want me to say about it, people who are listening, because if you're listening to us, then more than likely you've already been drinking Bane from Hitchhiker, and double Bane's just that, but extra. So, I don't.
What more do you want?
What more do you want?
I like Double Bane. Double Bane, I think, is one of the better double versions of something that we always do. Like Lustra, I think, is better than Double Lustra. Now, I love Double Lustra, but I think if you're going to drink it all the time, you can only have one or the other. I'm going standard Lustra over Double. And I feel like you could do Double Bane all the time, and you could replace Bane with that, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Because it's
Yeah. You know what? I'll agree with you on that, Bill, because we also ran into that just last week where we had the King Sue from Toppling Goliath, which was the double version of Pseudo Sue.
Mhm.
And I was saying Pseudo Sue, I just found that better.
Sure.
But I'll agree with you. I think double Bane is better than regular Bane. So
I mean, you can't drink 6 double Banes the way you could really try.
fucking try me.
You can do anything if you really want to. I agree with you, but the flavor profile I'll go with to sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I think on Double Bane is, it's definitely gone way more to it, and it's a really, really good beer.
Yeah, it's also incredibly smooth for being 9%.
Exactly, that's what it is. Like some of them, they just bite you in the back of the throat. And you're like, holy heck! I thought you were going to be sweet. And
So, Steve, I do have one suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Before you release this video, is it possible to take the nebulous of the Bane can?
Yeah,
and put that into your floating space head?
it's possible. Okay, I'll work on it.
If you did.
Be a lot cooler if you did. I gotta unwrap this label. I gotta take a picture of it. I gotta put it into the After Effects. But we'll see.
You need to drink more Double Banes.
Yes.
Yeah. Adam just made a shitload of work for me.
I'm just
anyway,
throwing it out there. That's all. Just throwing it out there.
Adam, how's your drink?
It's good. Rivertowne Oktoberfest. Like I said, it's an Oktoberfest. I don't think I've ever had a bad Oktoberfest, and this one stays right in that category. It's the perfect time of year for it. I like it. I'm glad I have one or two more left in the fridge, but I'm also ready for something else.
Rivertowne is Helltown now, right?
Yes.
Helltown bought Rivertowne. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep. And I believe they retained the naming rights as well. So
they bought the whole thing and just kept the recipes and kept making them basically.
Yeah.
The only thing
in 2 barrels.
Yeah, the only thing Helltown didn't buy was a couple restaurant spaces, and those wouldn't really do them that they wouldn't do them that well right now. So
nope.
They lucked out on that.
Yeah,
very much so.
Oh, nice prognostication there. But yeah, Bill, how's the Painter's Pigment?
The Painter's Pigment is, as I already said, my favorite beer that Pittsburgh makes. I'm 99% sure. And my dad, who drinks Iron City, is furious I would state such sacrilege out loud. as usual. I think I have no idea what day of the week it is anymore. I thought it was March until you said something about September. So they're about a week old, I think, at this point, which is where they start really kicking in. I understand the concept of brewery and space and money and packaging, so they push them out slightly earlier than they should, I think. And Painter's Pigment is the one that I always notice, and try to hide them from myself so I can let them chill for like 10 days, because that's when I feel like they really take off. And it's the Strata hops is what's in it's Strata and Citra in the 7% IPA that is Painter Pigment. And after like 9 or 10 days, it tastes like you have a giant nugget of the dankest weed you've ever smelled in your life. Like, that is what the Strata hops, I think. A lot of people use it, and I feel like their recipe makes it smell and taste more like that than anyone else's, which is why I keep going back to it. Phenomenal is my answer. Sorry it took so long to say it.
No, it's good. It's good, and it's good for your brand, because what you're trying to do is entice people to drink Pittsburgh beers. So if you can entice people with, dank ass pineapple weed beer, then yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back segment 2. We're going to talk a little more beer with Bill from CansPgh, and we'll have some more beers to talk about as well. So we'll be right back.
First Sip Brew Box is a one-of-a-kind subscription service for craft beer lovers based right here in Pittsburgh. Every month, First Sip will send you a box full of craft beer enthusiast essentials, including t-shirts, glassware, and even food. Right now, our friends at First Sip Brew Box have an offer for you. Just sign up for a 3-month subscription and get your 4th month free. Just enter the code HOPUSA when you sign up at firstsipbrewbox.com. That's HOPUSA at checkout to get your 4th month free at firstsipbrewbox.com.
Welcome back to episode 170 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. It is segment 2, and we're still here with Bill, a.k.a. at CansPgh on the Twitter, curator of all things cans and Pittsburgh.
Curator.
Say we're gonna come up with all sorts of taglines for you.
I love it. Someone needs to do some work around here. That is, it is not me.
Look, I am sadly firmly entrenched in the world of marketing and branding and using fucking buzzwords to sell yourself. So,
there you go.
Yeah, I'm also very anti that stance when it comes to this podcast. So I don't use those.
Our paradigm will not be shifted.
Yeah, our paradigm will not be shifted. We won't engage in groupthink. We won't become rockstar ninja editors. So yeah, none of that will happen.
Thank you.
But what we will do though is drink another beer.
Yes.
So Bill, what do you have for segment 2?
Segment 2, we're going to step it up a notch. So 2, we're going with a double. We are drinking Master of Oranges by Aslin Beer Company out of Herndon, Virginia. They used to be, but now they write Alexandria, Virginia, which is way easier to say. So I'll go with that. Aslin is something that was out of reach last year. It recently has Steel City beer distributors based out of Lawrenceville. They're the ones that bring in a lot of the rando stuff from out of town. And they had announced they were bringing in Aslin, but draft only, probably 6 months ago. And then clearly things changed, and we started getting cans up here. So I picked this up in my local beer distributor just last week, actually. And I think it's fairly fresh because there's no dates on it, Aslin.
Of course.
Yeah, but you can go to their Instagram and see when they've released things, which if you were a Pittsburgh beer drinker, I would highly recommend checking Aslin's Instagram feed and seeing when they released that beer you're about to purchase that just showed up in Pittsburgh.
That's an inside tip. I like that.
That's my only advice on that.
That's a good one. But
it is.
Yeah, we will concur, though, that we do like Aslin. We've had them on the show before, even before they made it to the Pittsburgh market, because we had some nice friends who would drive to Virginia. But, yeah.
good old-fashioned bootlegging for us.
No, for sure. My friend moved to Maryland, like West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, that little tiny sliver of it. And we've made some day-long journeys down to Aslin and Ocelot and Crooked something is down there. And
Crooked Stave?
No,
Is
not
it Crooked Stave? Mm.
I feel like it's like, I don't know what it is.
All I can think of is Crooked Tongue, but I know that's not right.
No, yeah. I can't think what it is. It's right in that same Ocelot and Aslin area, not down on Alexandria, but where they were originally in the industrial part.
In Herndon.
Herndon and I went to a kid in college who was like from South America, and his name was Hernan, and like that's all I can say when I try to say Hernan. Hernan is all I think.
It's okay. Yeah. All we do is this Swedish chef impression. Herndon.
Yes. All things Muppets are good as far as I'm concerned.
And speaking of Muppets, Steve, what are you drinking?
Fuck you.
I like it.
I am drinking, though, something else that is in a can, but also is not PGH. I picked up some Dragon's Milk White, which is the white stout version of the Dragon's Milk. It is still barrel aged, but it's also 6%. It's okay. I'm sad to report I'm actually kind of disappointed by it.
Let it warm up.
I'll try, but
that's good advice, especially on a stout. What is a white stout like? So that's just like not dark grains, and like, is that how you do that?
Pretty much. The main ingredient, really, of a white stout is almost always going to be flaked oat.
Oh,
and that's how you get that creamy, like kind of that creaminess of a stout. But
sure.
Like you said, they remove anything that would be like a chocolate malt or a roasted barley. They would take all those out and just stick to other grain bills. But yeah, this one, I don't know. It has a nice barrel aftertaste to it, but it doesn't have much in the way of like a nice white stout. It's not very creamy, and the flavor profile is overall kind of lacking. So yeah, I don't know. I really love the regular Dragon's Milk, but this is not hitting it for me.
Yeah. Now, who makes that?
New Holland.
New Holland. That's what okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite the Twitter handle, I am not only a drinker of cans or Pittsburgh beers. Just you were like, oh, both you've mentioned it, from a can, and then on Twitter, people were like, dude, that's a bottle release. I'm like, son of a bitch, it's like someone releasing.
Quit being so pedantic.
Yeah, it's just beer. Like, I like strangers. They put it in bottles. I like it out a little bit. Like,
they expect you to start a whole new Twitter handle and manage that. Bottles PGH.
It was like literally out of just pure frustration. I tried to go, cans. Just the cans. I thought I was pissed you couldn't go somewhere and figure out what cans were being released today. And here we are, I suppose, is the answer to that.
Hey, it's a good way to go about things, because I know we followed you just for that.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, you're half of our information for us.
Fantastic. It cracks me up every time like someone says that. It boggles my mind. That's why I keep doing it, because people follow along, and that's very interesting. And it's literally it's like a social experiment, basically. Like I just started posting it because I figured if no one else was doing it, then I should try, because I wanted the answers. And I was, making like spreadsheets for myself and shit. I was like, well, I should tell someone else this.
Spread the love.
Well, I couldn't buy all the cans. I was like, there's too many this week. I can't get them all. And at that point, I was like, to do something with this information.
Nice. Still helpful.
Oh,
Adam,
absolutely.
What are you drinking?
I am going a bit off of what you guys are doing for this segment, where I did stay in the Pittsburgh area. Going to Yellow Bridge, and I have their YB Pills.
Yes, classic. I like that.
Absolutely. And I'll admit I have had this beer once before, and through discussions with some friends, I believe this is the ultimate beer to drink with a pizza.
With a what?
With a pizza.
Oh, okay.
I think this is one of the best pizza beers out there.
See, I just watched another episode of yours where you guys were trying to come up with food pairings. You really dropped the ball because you should have saved the YB pills for the pizza pairing.
Oh, don't worry. There's more coming down the pike on that one.
There you go. See that?
Tease.
Little teaser. I know what's going. I'm in show business.
Well, yeah, it's just a 4.3% lager. It's just a happy little pills, and it's a good one. I like it. I'm a fan.
There you go. I love Yellow Bridge. Like I've only been out again. That's somewhere I've been one single time. Like we left Rivertowne Mall. I was like, I got a crazy idea. We're gonna go home this way. And we hit 2 or 3 on the way, and that's the first and last time I've been to Yellow Bridge. I'd love to make it back. It's not even that far. It's just completely out of my circle of pretending like I'm on my way somewhere else.
Right. And to be perfectly honest, how often do you go to Delmont?
Sure.
It's a lovely little town, and Yellow Bridge makes great beer, but it's never really a destination.
Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I've driven through more like to go play golf other than, and like I said, from Monroeville Mall, you can make kind of a big loop to get back to me. Avoid the, I think I hit Yellow Bridge and then we hit Connie Creek on the way because those two, lead you back to my, area.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I've been lucky that Yellow Bridge has now come to this side of the city via distribution. That's one of the silver linings of, 2020 in general, is that a lot of the breweries that I haven't seen out have been, unfortunately, forced to get into canning.
Oh, no, for sure.
Further distribution.
Yeah, no, they have to survive.
Yes, but me as a selfish consumer, I'm happy to see it.
I can't argue with your point.
And I am happy to support.
Cheers to that.
Well, now that we're done having a JO Fest for all the Pittsburgh breweries, I wanted to get outside of Pittsburgh this segment. That's kind of why I picked the New Holland, and I'm also glad that Bill picked the Aslin. But
should have sent the memo.
Yeah.
All right.
But Bill, I just wanted to get more into your beer knowledge and your beer history, and you seem to be about around the same age as Adam and I. So obviously you did not grow up drinking Pittsburgh beer.
No, I did not.
So where did you start, and where kind of did your infatuation for craft beer come from?
Well, I mean, I didn't start with craft beer, I'll be honest. It was, my father is a born and bred Pittsburgher. We had a half barrel of Iron City on tap in the beer fridge in the garage my entire life. I am old enough that with parental permission and supervision, there may have been some teenage birthday parties that we were allowed to imbibe from the keg of Iron City beer. So that's where it began. I think, leaving Iron City or PBR, once you get to college and you're paying for it yourself, which is some bullshit. The PBR, Keystone was still real big then. Keystone Ice, and we did the variety pack where we'd get Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Ice. So something for everybody.
Oh, a sampler.
Sure. But I think it got fancy with, to be honest, Fish, the band Fish. When I was done with high school, I went and started wasting my time and following them around the various states of our country and seeing them often. And at that point, Sammy Smith Oatmeal Stout, which I already mentioned, was literally the pinnacle of beer you could buy on lot at a Fish show. And, I invariably gravitated towards it and started drinking it. And then, they were not, I think, $90 cases back in like the early 2000s at like Joe's Beer on Route 8 or whatever. So Newcastle Brown became like the substitute for something dark and not Guinness, which I always liked Guinness at that point, like had no issues with Guinness, and it was the easiest to find if you were out like, an Applebee's or something like that. If you wanted to try to drink something, like if you wanted something dark, it was more than likely going to be a Guinness. And then, it was basically that. Newcastle Brown is like, from Mellinger's, is like kind of the pinnacle of college craft beer as far as I'm concerned. And then I kind of, I didn't, there was a Sam Adams or two here and there. They may have done like a strawberry blonde back in the day that I kind of would buy cases of and get made fun of for having the beer with the pink labels. But I kind of like chilled out and didn't drink a whole lot. Like I got bored with it for a while. I'm a huge not drinking and driving guy. So like if there was a huge period of time where I like was just like, I just won't, and didn't drink probably for, a couple of years. When I first got married and, we'd go out, I was always just the designated driver. And that when I got back into it, that was the local Pittsburgh craft sheet, maybe like 3 years ago total. I started paying more attention, seeing what was going on, tasting some of the stuff. Years gone by, like I had friends who had gone to East End Brewing back when I feel like it was, you could go like pay money and brew your own barrel with them, like back in like the early 2000s. Like, that was very interesting. Scott from East End was like sending out like all text newsletters on the regular, and you could only go fill a growler. And I think that started the like thought and love of someone local who was like, just going for it and really trying his damnedest to, make beer and make a living. And dudes, I can't speak to someone's individual wealth or well-being, but I sure hope that the guy who Scott from East End is doing well enough, because he's still at it, and they're bigger than they've been ever, I would assume. But yeah, that it was. I probably got back into it probably 2 or 3 years ago, when Dancing Gnome started, came up and about, and like people started talking about lines and Sharpsburg for cans of beer, and I was seeing my brother-in-law one Saturday. I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Do you want to go figure out what's going on? We went and stood in line, bought cans, 4-pack each, and like it was Infinite Highway was the first one I tried. I don't know what the fuck's in this beer, but like I have so many questions for the internet, and digging in further, and a couple of months went by, and I was mad that I kept not getting cans from Dancing Gnome, because I'd go and they'd laugh at me because they sold out like days ago, and I was pissed I couldn't Google where they were, who has cans, so I dug in further, and here we are. But yeah, that's my craft beer story, I suppose.
So, aside from being on the road and all the beers that you had on the road, are there any breweries outside of Pittsburgh that you really enjoy and try to look for and get after?
I mean, not like, since for forever. I went and caught a Humphreys McGee show one time at Bell's Brewery out in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we happened to be at Bell's Brewery. I was on Humphreys tour, and we were seeing we ended up in the beer garden at Bell's. It was right on the railroad tracks. It was fairly small. It was probably like, I don't know. My wife would tell me what year it is, but I'm going to guess 2009 or 10, probably 10 years ago. But I mean, it was a great time. But not so much back then. Like these days, if we go on vacation or something, like we were in Delaware recently, and I hit up the Dewey's, and we went Dogfish Head, but then we ended up at some I can't remember what the hell it was called. It was some local little spot in like Rehoboth Beach where we were. The name's escaping me now, but it was a great little spot. I ended up going back there like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, nice.
Cushwa's in not Frederick, Maryland, but Maryland, the part I was talking about. It's the local one to my buddy who moved down there as a teacher. And they make great beer. Every time he comes back, like to visit, like he brings me a case of random Cushwa cans, and I've not had something bad from them yet.
I'd say up in that little nook, that theoretically could be done in a day trip.
Oh, for sure. No,
I'm
yeah.
thinking.
Where my buddy's at, I mean, it's maybe 2.5, 3. I'm a map and road nerd, but it used to be 3 hours, and they finally opened a connector of 219 down there through like Somerset area, and like now you can do it in 2.5. They like
okay.
half an hour with like a new highway they've been trying to make since like 74 or some shit.
I say for me, my thought is always go to Breezewood, take 70 down in the Hancock, and boom, you're there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly where you're at.
Steve, you want to keep talking maps? Because I could do this all night.
I mean, I'm hesitant to. I was going to say I did used to, when I was working for SafeLate, used to have to drive through Somerset, down into Maryland, and then back up into Bedford. So I know like a lot of the backwoods, but this is like, it's interesting to the 50 people that live in that area of Maryland.
It's about 60 to 70. I think that you're right. There's not a lot of people in that area.
It's very targeted marketing.
Yeah.
Crucial is great beer. They pull people from all over.
So you mentioned, you've gone around the country, and I did want to jump back just a little bit, just say like, that Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout is like, that was one of the early ones for me as well.
Really?
It's a really good beer.
It's fantastic. I still buy it at Giant Eagle sometimes. I like all my 4-packs, and I'll like walk past it, and I'll see like the 24-ounce bomber or whatever they sell. Like, $2.99 or $3.99. I'm like, what? These are like $12 on the lot. Look at this thing. I'm so excited every time.
Yeah, it's no longer the $90 case anymore. It's pretty cheap and accessible. So yeah, good for that one. I'll tell you though, I haven't had a Newcastle Brown in years.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's been a couple years for myself as well.
Agreed. It has a different label now, and I was nervous. It doesn't taste the same. I haven't tried it yet.
Oh no.
I can't remember what it tastes like anyway.
So have you been on any have you taken any vacations to like a state, or have you done any like specific beer trips, or is it just all been coincidental? Like I'm following a band and now, hey, I'm Bells.
Sure. Yeah. No, like that. Yeah. Back then, definitely, because beer wasn't even on my radar. Like, I drank a few at Bells, but it wasn't like I was there to get cans or anything. But yeah, no. Well, I mean, like, I'm old. I'm like 40 something. So I have a wife and a kid, and like, they don't want to go to a brewery. That's insane. He wants to go play with like Legos and amusement parks and shit like that. So then I have to find a beer garden or whatever locally, and then hope that the day everyone's so tired, like when we were in Delaware, I just happened to scoot down to Ocean City real fast because I was doing like a Quad Dream collaboration with Other Half release on like a Friday, and like, I have a very understanding wife who is a sweetheart, and I was like, look, I'll be gone for 3 hours. That's not that big of a deal. And he obliged, thankfully, and then, I had to explain away a $160 case of beer after the fact. But, one problem at a time, and we'll get through this. And
hey, that is market research. That's tax deductible.
I wish that I didn't just use TurboTax to do my taxes. That makes sense to my brain, but it doesn't. So I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah, you gotta think about expanding the franchise into Cans, Maryland, and Cans, Delaware. Cans, Rehoboth.
When I first started, like one of the first internet people that was like, not nice to me, like people were mean to me, but like reached out and was like, oh shit, this is awesome. He's on Twitter and I think Instagram too. It's PA Brew Review. And like, he's a super nice kid. Like we continue to talk, like still to the day, to this day. But back in the beginning, was like, oh, I've been trying to do this for the whole state. Like you should do Philly too. And I was thinking, like, man, like I hate this for Philly. I don't hate it, but it's a lot. Like it's constantly weighs on my, oh shit, you need to deal with that this week, idiot. Like you still haven't done that, and I could not foresee expanding at this point in time. I'm just some dude who's currently teaching his kids kindergarten here at home and trying to squeeze like siphoning breweries, email newsletters and tweets and Instagram posts into my stupid notepad app on my phone and like reformatting it to like get it out in some semblance of making sense in a timely fashion before I'm no longer relevant.
Well, I think you still got a long time of being relevant because at this point nobody else has collated all this stuff together. But I will say you're lucky that you got the jump on it when you did, because otherwise our previous co-host Sam might have taken your mantle. Because I'll tell you what, yeah, he has pretty much every newsletter. He'll tell me any release that I ask. I just don't ask because I always get it from you first.
Twitter feed, I would like to follow your friends there, maybe in case I miss one. Maybe.
Oh no, he doesn't have social media. That's what I'm saying is because you exist, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it for others. He only does it for himself. Just gathering all the newsletters and keeping all that knowledge to himself.
I was totally Sam, and I was just blown. It was like one of the first things ever I Googled, and I was like, wait, what do you mean, like, this isn't there? Like, I just kept digging, because I figured someone did it, like, Craft Pittsburgh magazine, do they still make that, or does that, like, and I don't know.
I mean, if they do, it still wasn't even a weekly release, so not terrible help there.
No, exactly. Yeah, and those very local Pittsburgh people, they're pretty awesome. Like they're like, nice to me. Again, nice and air quotes. But they retweet everything and like and mention and we interact. But yeah, no, I don't know. I was thinking someone might ask me to like come have a desk at their office and like do this for them. It's a real half-ass attempt. I'm going to be honest with you. At best.
I mean, I don't think you need to go have a desk anymore. Everybody can just work from home.
There you go. Yeah.
But I mean, even looking on like the Pittsburgh Beers subreddit, I don't know if you've ever been on that. They don't have like a collated list either. So
there was a guy who did it for a while. I mean, a guy. I don't know if he's a guy. It could have been a female. A person on Reddit used to do the weekly posts, and they would pin them to the top of it. Like it was a while ago. The last time, I saw it, but he stopped posting them because at one point I posted them, and then he was posting them. And I was like, oh shit, like this guy's doing this already. Like I don't want to pick him off. Like so I just like stopped and I would add things to his thread. But I don't know when he stopped, but I stopped in the other day. I'm on Reddit all the time, but it's usually just like scouring Animal Crossing, turnip prices or some bullshit. And I popped into someone posted on the Pittsburgh Beers subreddit, and they were like, hey, any releases this week? I was like, oh, fuck, I just posted my thread, dude. Like,
yes. There is.
How can
I dunk on this fool?
And like 5 people followed me on Twitter that night. I was like, this is definitely all Pittsburghers. I like it. This is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, and for all our international and other side of the country listeners, follow CansPgh anyway because you get to know what's coming up when you come into town. If you come into town,
that's right. See what's going on in the Pittsburgh beer scene
when travel resumes.
Yes. And at CansPgh, that is what'll get you there. And speaking of, I did have a question because I was perusing through your Twitter profile, and you made a post a couple of days about you had a crowler and you had a bunch of vent holes on the top of it. What was the story behind that?
I think I know everything, and I decided to tell the Twitter that I believe is the way to roll on your crowlers. They glug and spill no matter how much you try. Maybe they don't for you, and if that's you, awesome. Keep it up. You're doing a hell of a job.
Oh, no, I'm terrible at pouring those.
For me, every time I crack one open, I lose some. And then when I'm pouring it, even like trying really hard at the right angle, when I got the glass at the angle over the sink, and the shit's dripping everywhere. And like, I'm so mad because I just drove all the way over to freaking Brew Gentleman, and it took me like 2 hours round trip. And like, here's beer dripping down in my sink because like I'm apparently not able to pour from can to glass. So that's my pro tip. I take an old school can opener that have the punchy, like pointy triangle.
Like an old P38?
I don't know what a P38 is, but like the sharp end.
Just say yes.
Yeah, I'm sure it's right. I couldn't imagine it's not. I mean, you're the fucking name. Yeah, hit the top of it. At least once or twice. If you're crazy or neurotic like me, go 4 or 5, because what the fuck else you got going on? And then, yes, it glugs and it doesn't spill nearly as much. And the 32 ounces or 25 and a half ounces that are a 750 milliliter crowler don't pour out of that tiny little mouth hole they give you correctly unless you add more air to it. Personal opinion.
No, that's not personal opinion. That is correct. And that's why I'm sure that's why Adam brought it up, because something that our damn boomer parents didn't pass down to us from the days before electric can openers was that you had to punch both sides of a can to pour it correctly. I do have memories. I do have memories of my grandparents pouring juice from a can, and that's how you do it.
Yep.
Tomato juice. I remember drinking out of like a Campbell's soup size can with a triangle on both ends of that son of a bitch to pour it out of there.
Yeah, but that's something the boomers didn't pass down to us. God
Here's
damn
Steve B being an ageist again.
That's right. We have to blame them for that and the poop stool. I'll bring up the poop stool at another time. But if you don't know about using a stool when you go to the bathroom,
I know about this.
It's since been reinvented as the squatty potty, but
Well, I was going to say squatty potty. When you said poop anything, I think of poop knife from Reddit, and I was very. I just wanted to back away before that.
All right. Well, let's steer clear of the doo-doo talk, and let's get back to the beers that we were drinking this segment. And let's start with Adam. How has your beer treated you?
The only way that I could improve on this beer is if I had a slice of pizza with me, but eating on a podcast is not good, so I'm not going to.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'd be yelled at in a text message later if I did.
No, I'd address it on the show.
But no, the YB Pills by Yellow Bridge, I like it. If you're a fan of just straight down the middle lagers, just a good, easy drinking pills, get it. You'll like it.
I like it.
Right on. For me, the New Holland Dragon's Milk White Stout, it just didn't, I don't know, it doesn't float my boat. I tried to really get into it. I like white stouts because if you listen to the episode where we had the Hitchhiker Point of Confusion, boy, oh boy, I really wish I had that beer right now.
That beer is a heavy hitter, too.
Yeah, that beer is a
Is
killer.
there a date on the Dragon's Milk White?
There is not.
See, that's what I'm saying. Who knows?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Oh, no, actually, hold on. I'm wrong.
Oh.
I didn't look proper.
Here he goes lying again.
I know. I'm correcting the record. It was canned July 6th, 2020.
Oh, no, that's completely fresh.
Yeah, it's completely fresh. It's a stout. So yeah, nah, it's just
You got time.
It's just the overall flavor wasn't great. It does have a really nice barrel back end, but the overall flavor of the stout doesn't really do it for me. So that's all.
Barrel-aged white stout, you're losing me already. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They took a risk. They took a risk, but it didn't pay off. I don't know that we'll see this one again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bill, how's your Aslin?
Well, it's empty, and it's fantastic. I still have a little left. The Master of Oranges, as it is known, is the mashup between Double Orange Starfish and Master of Karate, which is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference, which is thumbs up in my opinion.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't a Metallica reference. Neat.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Not a Metallica reference. And regarding my earlier statements, this would be the most recently listed on their Instagram feed of all the recent cans that came to Pittsburgh. Just throwing that out there.
Right on.
It was excellent. I enjoyed every second of it.
Nice. Well, coming up in segment 3, it's time once again to do the fantasy fridge draft. And this week we'll be doing it with Bill from CansPgh.
Yes, I'm ready.
He'll be joining us, and so stay tuned. We'll come back segment 3 with the 2020 Hop Nation USA Fantasy Fridge Draft.
Can't wait.
Are you tired of watching the same old awesome movies? Are B movies more your style? Then the folks over at They Call This a Movie have you covered. Join us every Thursday as we review the worst of the worst in sci-fi, action, comedy, and more. We are available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Podbean at theycalldthisamovie.podbean.com. They Called This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships, one terrible movie at a time.
Welcome back to episode 170 of the Hot Nation USA podcast. It's segment 3, and we're still here with Bill, also known as CansPgh. And it's third segment, so it's time for a third beer. And so, Bill, what do you have as your third beer?
Number 3 tonight is going to be Mutant Temple by Strange Roots, which is a IPA, dry hopped with Citra, 5.3%.
Okay.
This is because the lower ABVs are really, you can't, it's like almost 9 o'clock at night. Like, I haven't been here since school ended at 3 p.m. Like, at this rate, they got to be low.
You got to coast down a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Downshift.
All about
Gets
that
ugly.
glide path.
Yeah, it's ugly later, if not now. A little forethought helps.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Those Strange Roots IPA cans have been really drawn upon heavy metal.
Yes.
They all look like heavy metal album covers at this point.
I follow the guy on Instagram. I wouldn't dare to try to pronounce the way his Instagram handle is, but it's a very heavy metal sounding word that he chose as his username. And that's clearly that kid's art style. I don't know where he's from, but like it's the same guy over and over again for their
Oh, of course.
esque. Yeah. I like him. He kills it. I mean, it's, at first it was a little weird, but they're apt, I'd say. Like, the IPAs are, they're good IPAs. I enjoy them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, once you find a good artist, don't let him go. and don't let him design for other people, too.
Yeah.
then your stuff doesn't stand out.
That's right.
According to recent internet drama, you don't let them support, the wrong causes either.
Right, that too.
Stay in your lane like Burial.
Yeah, Barry will lock that guy down.
Yes.
He's allowed to do other stuff, but not for any other brewery, I don't think. Adam, what are you drinking?
So I'm going north this time. I'm going up to North Country, and I'm going back into their sour series. We've had one or two of theirs on the show, but this is their watermelon cucumber lime.
Oh.
Yes. I've kind of been looking forward to this one. It's been sitting in my fridge for a few days, and I've been looking at it and looking at it and looking at it. Then I decided today was the day. And I like it. It's quite refreshing. Obviously, with the watermelon and the cucumber, it's got that nice light flavor to it, but it's got just the right amount of sour and tartness to not be, just another whatever beer. I like it. I'm a fan.
That's awesome. North Country is another one. They're fantastic. Like I mentioned East End earlier. North Country's been doing it just as long. Like I can remember taking cases of Firehouse Red, like camping. Like 10 years ago, I feels like. I don't know how long ago it was, but good for them. They're still doing it. They're still prospering, obviously, or at least surviving. Yes. And more.
I would even say they're thriving because their variety of beer has gotten bigger and better.
For sure. No, you're 100% right. That girl, I follow her on Instagram. I think Meg something, and I apologize if she happens to listen. But I think she worked at the one in Homestead that closed, the Rock Bottom.
Yeah, she worked at Rock Bottom for a bit as their brewer, and then moved up to North Country. Yeah,
she's still at North Country now.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
as far as I know, yes.
She may have moved on, but yeah, she was working at North Country for a bit.
Yeah, the last I saw anything, mentioned, that's where she was. And, that's awesome. Congratulations. And good for them for, not – I don't know anything about North Country, but, I'll stereotype north of Butler County for a brief moment and just, assume it could have gone really poorly with someone who did a hell of a job making a few good beers up there and, just kept milking it the rest of forever. But obviously they, are – adapting and changing and moving forward, and good for them. That's awesome. Yeah. I got nothing but love for the town of Slippery Rock. It's a good time wrapped up in a little village.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, and the North Country, the restaurant and brewery space as a whole was really neat too. I really like going up there. So what about you, Steve? What are you sipping on?
Good question.
I am drinking. I went back to Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't have gone outside of Pittsburgh. I learned my lesson.
Come back home where you belong.
Gotta come back home.
You're the best.
Went back to Pittsburgh, and now I'm drinking the Dark Nectar
Oh,
by Grist House. And Yeah, it was the right choice. Honey porter, 6.4%. You get a lot of chocolate notes on it, but it also has a real upfront sweetness. So, yeah, it's a pretty excellent beer. Good way to wind the night down.
Nice. Yeah, if I could find some of that, I'm gonna have to get some.
I don't know where you will. I had the trade for this one.
I know.
They just won some award for some other honey beer, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it wasn't that one, which I didn't remember Dark Nectar, I'll be honest. But when they won that award, it was the National Honey Board or something?
Yes, they did just win an award, and it was in collaboration with an apiary.
The only other honey beer I could think of for them is their Beautiful Blonde, but I don't think that was it.
No, it wasn't that one either.
They just, they did something and did it. I can't rememre what it was.
Hold on.
Is the National Honey Board real? Is that a real thing? When they said they won an award?
Yes, it is. It was the National Honey Board.
Nice. See, that's funny. Like, good for them, but come on, get out of here.
Actually, it was this beer. It was the Dark Nectar.
Was it really?
There you go.
Oh, an award-winning beer on an award-winning show.
Award-winning beer. That's what I'm saying.
I like it.
Yes, and it was brewed in conjunction with Bedillion Farms.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, so that's where they got.
Are they out of?
That's where they got Bedillion. I don't know.
All right.
No, but that's where they sourced the honey from Bedillion Farms.
Sure.
Nice.
So yeah, they brung home the gold medal from the National Honey Board.
Was it honey gold?
So this week we are doing the 2020 Fantasy Fridge Draft.
That was a nice smash cut there, Steve.
Yeah. Also, Bedillion Farm is out of Hickory, PA.
All right.
Where the fuck is Hickory, PA?
PA.
I understand. No, I mean, it could be like, a million miles away, or it could be like 15 minutes from my house. Like, that's how random small towns in PA are.
Somewhere east of Ohio.
You don't need to Google that. I was just speaking.
It is south of Burgestown.
Fair enough.
All right, then.
Yeah. But, yes, this week we are doing the 2020 Hop Nation USA Fantasy Fridge Draft. And for those of you who have been with us for a while, we've been doing this for a bit. And that means every year we have brand new categories. Unlike regular drafts, we don't have a limit on the beers that we can take. We just have the entirety of beer. Although I will try to ask you to remain within the year 2020, but if you can't, that's fine too.
I mean, it is a fantasy draft.
Right.
So
it's a fantasy. It's whatever you want to fill out your beer fridge.
Yes.
For the rest of the year. This year we have 5 categories, and these are our 5 brand new categories for the year, but we also do have the 6 flex to round out the fridge. But our 5 new categories for the 2020 draft are the election night, the what pandemic, the Zoomer, the team-friendly deal, and the Aussie rules football pick. And as we go through each category, we'll explain what they are. But the first one we're going to start with, I actually want to start with the what pandemic. And the what pandemic beer is what beer has helped you forget the world is coming down around you. So what pandemic? Adam, I'll start with you on this one.
All right. And it's rather apropos that we have a Grist House beer being drank on this segment, because I am going to go right back to Grist House for this one. And I'm actually going to go with the Grist House Crisp. Their Kolsch. To me, that was one of the best Kolsches that I've had either in a long time or ever. And to me, that helped me unwind on the back porch, just have a nice, clean beer like that, and help me just forget about everything, where I could just have a good, clean beer and just be. That's it. It didn't have to be
honey puns.
Yeah. All right. I wasn't going for that, but yeah. But yeah, it was to me. Oh, they come quick. Don't worry.
I'm ready.
But for me, it was just it was the perfect beer for just feeling normal again, where it wasn't some super whammadine beer that had 8,000 and had junks and this and that and the other thing. I like those, but just having just a good old-fashioned beer just to sit on the back porch and just listen to the birds chirp and watch the leaves rustle. I liked it. That's what did it for me. So Grist House Crisp, lock it in.
I didn't have the Grist House Crisp, but now I want to. You sold it, so just saying.
Well, I might have one or two in the beer fridge. I might have to send some over your way.
Sorry, you live so far away. That's like I couldn't drive there. That would take days.
You guys just gotta find the halfway giant eagle point. That's all.
It's probably cranberry, and fuck that.
Agreed.
All right, Bill. What is your fantasy fridge draft for the what pandemic?
So for the what pandemic category this year, I'm going to be going with General Braddock's by Brew Gentleman. General Braddock's is Brew Gentleman's flagship IPA. They are out in Homestead, which is where Kennywood is, or for most people, so fucking far away that you got to be kidding me. But Brew Gentleman, contrary to what everyone believed, and everyone is the internet circle I follow, they finally started canning beer, and they had never done that prior. The pandemic forced them into canning their crowlers, which is it's an awesome treat to be able to drive over there, place an order, and get, it's what I always wanted to do. I never visited Brew Gentleman before the pandemic. I'll be 100% honest, which is crazy because they're like, the top shelf of breweries in Pittsburgh. But it's so far, and then I would drink too many beers and get so drunk, or I have to buy like 6 glass bottles to get it all home. And at that point, like, come on. But now that they're doing the crowlers, I can go buy 2 or 3 different of the beers I want to try, and they finally started canning something, and it's General Braddock's. It's a IPA, but it's a New England IPA, let's be honest, 6.8%. They opted for the 12-ounce cans. So with the pandemic category, I'm going with the Brew Gentleman General Braddock because they're 12-ounce cans, so I can drink so many of them. They're adorable. And they're skinny. And they fit in the koozies I have for White Claws for my wife, and I can drink them, and they're cute. Brew Gentleman, General Braddock.
Right on. Yeah. That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. That is. Holy cow.
Yeah. For myself, I'm already going to break that little rule I laid out at the beginning about the 2020.
Jeez.
And I'm going to pick the 2019 120-minute Dogfish Head.
Whoa. Jesus
Couple reasons. One, it's 2019, not 2020. 2, it's 15+%.
Those are dangerous.
I'm not going to think about anything else. I'm not going to think about a pandemic. I'm not going to think about anything but going to sleep.
So you're beyond just taking your mind off of everything. You're looking for a mind eraser.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm erasing the situation.
I use Xanax for that, for the record. But that's a good option as well.
Yeah, I don't have health insurance, so it's just higher ABV beers. That's all. So yeah, I'm just looking to time travel back to 2019 with a 2019 beer. And that's my answer for that one.
Nice.
So the next category I'll move on to, it's called the Zoomer. And the Zoomer is, what beer do you hide while you're on work from home video calls? And I'll start this one off just because I think it's a very simple and easy answer. The Grist House Morning Feels. And for
it's
those,
coffee, right?
It's coffee and tea.
Oh.
So it's a very light beer, and it's also coffee and tea. So it's something that you can very easily just start drinking in the morning, but you can drink pretty much any time and not feel bad about it. And it's not, it's not blow your ass off high on the ABV. So you can keep it off to the side, away from the camera, and then just act like you're throwing something away in the trash can or whatever, and then take a sip.
Sure.
Adam?
So for me, I kind of took a different approach because I went for a beer that if it happens to show up on screen, I could excuse it for something else. And I must throw this out here, this legal disclaimer. I do not do this during work meetings. I do not do that.
Good.
So for sake of legality, or if any of my bosses are listening, I actually don't do this. However, hypothetically, if I were to do that, I would go with the 11th Hour Dream Cannon.
Yes.
Because I could very easily excuse that and say that's like a V8 fusion fruit drink or some juicy juice or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So just going for the visual disguise.
That's just making sure you take it out of the can, but after it's out of the can, it's juice.
Right, exactly. It's very easily just, oh, don't worry about it. It's just, just my morning juice.
That's my smoothie. Don't yell
Yes.
at me.
They make crazy ass looking cans for like energy drinks these days. You could very easily pass that off. It's like, oh, that's some crazy Red 7 energy drink.
If you told somebody that you were drinking a Dream Cannon, that sounds a bit like an energy drink.
Great.
It sounds like a Mountain Dew flavor. So
It does.
Might be the next Mountain Dew flavor. You never know. The 11th Hour should get their lawyers in order.
How about you, Bill? What do you got for your Zoomer?
Okay, well, I unfortunately was one of the sad saps when the pandemic hit, whose company decided to say, fuck it, we're out, never mind, you're unemployed now. So I've been just laying low, and, that CansPgh has kind of had some down weeks, and it was more due to my we'll breeze over with just inability to get myself motivated to give a fuck about can releases this week. And
Understood.
So I, unfortunately, for me, and this category, have not been subject to work from home Zoom meetings. My wife, God bless her, lives in the other bedroom during the week, and she handles that, the working part of our family. But I can, going back to you, Adam, a hypothetical situation, I can pretend that I was still working and taking Zoom meetings instead of being unemployed. And that would all be in the morning because I was a morning type worker. And therefore, I'm going to roll with I think it's this week, if I'm not mistaken, Bottle Service is the name of it, from Hitchhiker Brewing. Mm-hmm. It is their fruited sour, but it should be called a fruited mimosa sour, because what they're going for is the orange juice vodka taste. Now, Bottle Service is a beer that I previously, when I used to take pictures of my beers on Instagram, which I kind of gave up with because, the world's fucking ending and who cares about beers on Instagram. It was the one beer I declared that I could possibly drink on the regular before noon, because it literally tastes more like orange juice than any other beer that is in a can from Pittsburgh breweries on the regular. It is, I don't know about now, but in the before times, Bottle Service Saturday was a fucking nightmare at Hitchhiker. They were 25 deep and people were waiting. Everyone, I'm not generalizing, but it seemed there was more females at this can release than males. And, anyone who I always saw had their significant other with them for Bottle Service Week versus not on, double Bane Week or whatever it may have been. I feel like it's a beer for everyone, and I feel like it's definitely a beer for me on a Zoom meeting before noon, because I could most assuredly pass it off as some orange juice.
Damn, these are some good answers.
So, all right, just a quick comparison. Does Bottle Service taste more like orange juice than that trash concentrate Donald Duck orange juice?
First of all, I will not allow derogatory statements towards Donald Duck orange juice. That shit is legit, and it's real, and they don't even make it anymore because it was so good. They were like, you can't sell that shit for 78 cents. It's real fucking orange juice, despite the fact that it's frozen. That said, I think that Donald Duck has the edge on real orange juice taste. But I would most assuredly rather drink Bottle Service than Sunny Delight, which I haven't had since I was 12, until I have a kid who's now 5 and ends up with it somehow, and I taste it and I'm like, holy shit, that is garbage. It's close to orange juice. It burns me more than the greenest IPA you could ever imagine. I can't fathom that I ever enjoyed Sunny Delight.
Yeah, it is pretty sugar heavy.
It's rough. It's definitely rough.
Yeah.
Which makes me so sad because I loved it. I would chug it
Oh yeah, we all grew up drinking
I was a
trash.
fat kid, I guess.
We all grew up drinking trash. All right. Our next category is called the election night. And this one is regardless of your political leanings, what beer do you plan on celebrating with or weeping into on November 3rd? So you don't have to get into who you're voting for, what you believe in, any shit like that. If you're Green Party, that's cool. We just want to know what you're getting into that night. So I'll start with you, Bill, on this one.
Okay. So I'll use this minor period of time to state anyone that happens to follow me on Twitter, I sincerely apologize if I'm posting political shit that you don't want to actually listen to. And every time I do it, I feel really bad after because I'm like, oh, fuck. These people just want can releases. They don't give a shit that you're retweeting this asshole. That's it. I'm assuming for election night, I will be in it for the long haul. Therefore, I'm going very low ABV because I'm going to need a lot of beer because I'm going to watch TV until like 4 in the morning. See the aforementioned unemployed comment. Squish by Cinderlands. That's my choice. Ooh. Squish is their house IPA. I don't even think it's in cans right now, which is kind of weird. So Cinderlands, get on that because it should always be in cans. And it was for the longest time, but I feel like something happened and they haven't put it out in a minute because I definitely haven't mentioned that they were releasing new cans of Squish recently. But I haven't been to Cinderlands in a minute, so they may very well have it in the cooler and just aren't talking about it. That might be my bet. 5% pale ale, and again, it's not a Sierra Nevada pale ale. We're talking about a New England IPA, but it's 5%, so we call it a pale ale. I will add the asterisk caveat / of at some point they did Southern Squish, which happened to be 5.5% alcohol, still pale ale. Hazy IPA pale ale. And that was using Southern hops as opposed to what they generally use for Squish. I have 1 can of Southern left and not enough cans of Squish left for the election night. But if I was picking one beer for election night, that's what I'm going with because I could just bring up half a rack and you know settle in for the long haul.
Right on. That makes sense. I'll say, I think, though, I did see some Squish at the Robinson Market District.
Word.
So it might be something they're putting out more on a regular basis and not advertising it as a new release every week.
That is 100% possible. Like, it is literally the great problem of Cans Pittsburgh. Because, like, you know, for example, Allegheny City Brewing, like, they every time that week, they're like, oh, we have 12 in cans, plus we have this one. And I'm thinking, 12 in cans? Like, I can't remember saying you have 4 in cans. I kind of try to say what they're saying, but if they release a bunch of shit and they never mention it, like, you know, buyer beware. These breweries have tons of cans. Go buy them for sure.
Yeah, check it out. Call them up. Check their websites too, because some of them still have online ordering or whatever. But yeah.
Online ordering, Instagram, Twitter. You should be checking on Facebook, but I don't go there. If you do, you should go there as well. Some people's choice. All
right, for me, my election night beer, and I'm probably not going to be able to get it, but if I could get it, I would have it. Is the RAR 10-layer stout.
I know where you can get some, Steve.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I know a guy.
That's good. That's good because I might want some because that is a knockout stout. It is treats. It's just nothing but fat time treats, and that's what I want because I both have to reconcile voting for somebody I don't want to vote for, but to vote for somebody I don't want to vote for to make sure that the worst person ever is no longer president.
That's a nice tightrope you're walking there, Steve.
Yeah.
You said regardless of who you're voting for, so I steered clear of the whole.
Well, I gave it to you.
Don't vote this guy out. Are you kidding me?
I'm saying if you don't, I didn't know. I was pretty sure of your political leanings, but you don't have to out yourself in any way that you don't want to.
I personally feel if you're not outing yourself for this personal election, then you're doing a disservice to the country. Yeah. It's a ridiculous, unreal point in time, and I don't think any of us are equipped to deal with the gravity of the current situation, which makes it even more impossible to deal with it mentally.
Yeah.
Scares the hell out of me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty impossible and it sucks, but that's what we have to do. But yeah, being that I'm not in love with the person I'll be voting for, I'll just have to reconcile that with heavy, yummy pastry stouts.
What percent is the RAR triple layer stout you mentioned?
That one's like 7 or 8, right, Adam?
Hold on a second.
Those people make like candy in a beer can. I've never come across any RAR, but the slush puppy on the can is enough to make me want to drink some of it.
It's 7.5, Steve.
Right, yeah. 7 or 8, like I said, but yeah.
Perfect.
Like I said, I know a guy.
Yeah. So dump a couple down my hole and just pass out and hope for the best.
That sounds like a regular Saturday night.
Yeah, well, hey. It'll be a Thursday now.
I was going to say,
Thursday?
Yeah.
Tuesday, whatever.
There you go. Try that one.
I thought Thursday too. You're right. That's weird. Tuesday.
November 3rd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the 3rd, yeah.
Tuesday.
Oh, boy.
Adam, what's your election night beer?
So I'm going the same direction as you are, Steve, where it's time for Fatty Boy desserts. But instead of going south of Pittsburgh, I'm going north. And I'm going to have a bit of a twofer here. I'm going with Southern Tier. Number 1 is going to be the Warlock, because Warlock is delicious. And it's just about time for Warlock to be going on the sale shelf. So I can get it for a good price, which I like. And I'm going to pair that with whatever Blackwater Series beer is out there at that time.
Okay.
Because that's where the Fatty Boy Stout beers come into play. And I'm just going to drink those big heavy hitters. I
wonder if S'mores will be back around at that point.
Ooh, I hope so.
S'mores Nitro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be back at that point.
So that'll be a 1-2 punch, and those will probably be the only 2 punches I'll need.
So,
and then I'll be good for the rest of the night.
Right. Again, pass out and hope for the best.
Yes.
Hope the Green Party wins. An amazing, Hey, just an amazing turnaround. The Green Party gets in. You go, oh. All right. So next category is called the Team Friendly Deal. And this is the beer that you've had many times before, but you always use it to fill out a mix of 6. Yeah, every now and then we go to the grocery store, we have a mix of 6, and that just one empty space gets left open. So, Adam, what do you fill that empty space with?
So this one is one that I've drank it so many times that I don't care to admit, but I'm going to drink it so many more times again. It's not even local. It's from, I think, out in California, but the Anderson Valley Winter Solstice.
Yes.
I absolutely love that beer, and anytime it's available, if I got any slots left in that mix of 6, boom, that's almost automatic.
I got no problems with Anderson Valley. They make a quality beer for being not Pittsburgh. And
right, exactly. Yeah, sign me up for that stuff anytime.
Bill, how about you?
This is the mix of 6, yeah. Okay, so I don't do the mix of 6 often, I'll be honest with you. I'm more of a straight 4-pack from the brewery kind of guy. But my Giant Eagle is one of the weird ones. It's like independently owned, so like their beer section sucked forever. And then all of a sudden it got like really good, and I grabbed one of the poor kids. I was like, what the fuck is going on around here? Like, why did it change? And he was like, dude, it's the owner's son. He like started paying attention to the beer, and like he's into it. When this happens, it's totally crazy and conceited on myself. But I always say to myself, they must follow CansPgh. Because like literally all the shit I'm posting, it's like in my Giant Eagle. And they're vehemently aggressive regarding this is old, get it in the mixed 6-pack case, like that are, I think it's $12 for a 6-pack, like $12.99 or whatever it is. Like, so I've pulled some stuff, and I was like, this is old, and I've opened it and I've been like, oh fuck, that's disgusting. But I've had a lot of luck with, and my choice for the add to my mix of 6 is anything from 4 Points Brewing in the 6-ish% range, which is their 400, and then they do the 4th Street
And they do
Yeah.
a 4th Street Plus variant of it where they add an extra hot. And whatever one of those, when they make it to the cheap cooler of the Pick Six, I'll throw one of those guys in there because they're always solid. Like, you know, they're a not too heavy, hazy IPA, make no mistake. It's the same one I'm, you know, searching for. But they're crazy. Like that 4 points. I made my poor, I think it was Valentine's Day. She was like, where should we go? And I was like, how about barbecue? And she was like, yes. And I was like, cool. We're going to drive to Charleroi. And she's like, Charleroi. And, you know, like an hour later we got there and, you know, the beer was great. The food was fantastic. But you know, it's so far. And it's crazy because the brewer, the head brewer, Adam, from Twitter is the only way I know him, but we've met now in real life. He like lives like right down the street. And like, I wouldn't drive to 4 Points Brewing, like if you paid me $100. But this man apparently drives there on the regular, like to work. Nonetheless, they're like the dude and they are cranking out consistently fantastic beers currently.
Agreed.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a bad one from them yet.
No. Nope. Not that I can think of.
That's my add to the 6-pack because they're always in there. And it makes me sad that they're cheap, but it makes me happy I can buy them for less money than I usually would.
Say, I'm jealous that you're getting that level of beer in your Mix-a-Six cooler.
Yeah, we
at my
certainly
Giant
are.
Eagle, it is nowhere near that.
I'll shout them out. It's the Gibsonia Giant Eagle. I don't know what goes on there, but it's any other one I go to, they have the same selection. But that one, and I think Giant Eagle, some of them are like independently owned. And that's what I'm assuming is going on. Because my local one, there's 2 or 3 beer distributors near me that are fucking killing it currently. It's ridiculous. Like the quality of local cans that come way closer to me than I deserve.
I say it seems like from this time last year to now, the individual distributors have just upped their game tremendously as well.
For sure. I agree 100%. I mean, I think that's a huge product of where we are. I mean, you know, they like, you know, go to my default, Dancing Gnome. Like they were probably selling 80% of their beer in kegs out of the tap room. Like that place was insane. You walked in, it was asses to elbows from door to the back window to the bathroom. And, you know, now that's none of that. And they're selling $4 or $6 cans and 4-packs where they were getting 7 or 9 for pints. Like
right.
That in and of itself, not even talking about the cost of aluminum or canning it. Like, you know, they're I feel bad for them, like to the point that I do for the guy who's making beer that's selling, you know, its weight in gold. Basically, you know, congrats. Like, you know, it sucks that where we are. This is a shit situation for, you know, not only them, but so many people, obviously. But, you know, at least they have that option. And, you know, they're doing all right with that. I would hope they're doing all right. I can't say they are. I don't fucking know. But I hope they are. Anyone that, you know, does it, I hope you're still here in a year.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
My answer is simply Bell's Two Hearted. Moving on.
Okay. All right.
Nothing else needed to be said.
No, there's really no other discussion.
No. Nope. If I'm missing a spot, Bell's Two Hearted goes in.
All right.
It's there for an option, take it.
Yeah. All right. Our next category is the Aussie Rules football pick. And for this, the category is that the beer that does its best to replicate something that isn't beer. So a beer that mimics a cocktail or a dessert food or soda or anything like that. For me, I chose the Millie's Ice Cream and Shoe Brew collaboration.
Yeah.
That was the Earl Grey ice cream beer.
Is that the London Fog?
Yeah, the London Fog, the Earl Grey ice cream beer. That, boy, oh boy, did that just taste like Earl Grey ice cream.
That's awesome. I didn't try that one. That's awesome. That it was fantastic. That's good to hear.
It really was, yeah. So if you're, obviously it was just packed full of Earl Grey and lactose. But it was really creamy and it wasn't a stout. So I feel like when you get away from stouts, you actually give the other flavors the ability to breathe.
Sure.
So like Earl Grey was able to shine a lot more than had it had to compete with like a roasted barley or a chocolate malt. So yeah, that's my Mimic. It's a really good one, and I hope they make it again. But they seem to be pretty heavy on their Tsunami series right now.
That's, yeah, for sure. Currently their thing, no doubt. Who's to say what's to come?
Right. Adam?
So for me, I'm going back to the good folks at Grist House, which first I want to say congratulations on your new crosswalk. That's really neat looking.
Right? That was pretty crazy.
It is pretty sweet.
I was staring at it trying to figure out where the fuck it was, and I was like, oh, it must be all the way, I guess, like Grant Street. Like, it's that crosswalk, yeah? Like, all the way out by the Mini Mart. Like, not...
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
So for those not in the know, there was a new crosswalk painted in Millvale, which is, of course, the original home of Grist House. And they painted it in such a way that they have the four major ingredients of beer, the Rice-Hiker-Boot, or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know.
Reinheitsgebot?
That's the one. But it was just a symbol of, of the brewery in Millvale. It was really nice looking. Check it out on the social media. It's pretty neat. But the beer that I chose was the Grist House Utterly Dunked.
Okay.
Which was Oreos and milk. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was straight up Oreos and milk.
It was a collab with Turner Dairy, right?
Yes.
Utterly? You said Utterly, right?
Yes. And to me, that worked perfectly as an Oreo beer. There it is. Those
for
of
our
us
video watchers.
Yes, for our video watchers.
Yeah.
If you're listening to on audio, go watch us on YouTube. But yes, the Utterly Dunked, I thought that hit that right out of the park with the I'll say sandwich cookie style beer. Because I don't know what kind of copyrights are going to be thrown about.
Say
Hydrox
Hydrox.
and such.
For the best.
Well, that's probably copyrighted too.
No, Hydrox is dead. It's fine.
It's not a sentence I thought I'd hear today. Hydrox is dead. It's fine.
Yeah. Bill, what's your Mimic Aussie rules football?
My selection for this category. So I'm going to go. I originally had the one I already mentioned, which was the bottle service, because there was the mimosa sour, and that technically would fulfill this category as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I instead opted to pivot, as people keep telling me on the internet, and I went to the Fruit Whip series from Cellar. Cellarworks Brewing is up in Sarver, PA, which sounds like in the middle of nowhere, but it's southern Butler County, like just above the Allegheny County line. 28 gets you there. And they do a Fruit Whip series, which they, if they would have wanted to get sued, would have called the Dole Whip series. And it's basically trying to mimic the Dole Whip ice cream. The first one they did was pineapple. And at that point, they explained to me, because I go there sometimes, that the pineapple Dole Whip, apparently you can only buy it in Disney World. Like Disney made Dole, and you only can get pineapple Dole Whip at Disney properties.
Yeah.
But they others, like I went to I take my kid to Idlewild, and they have Dole Whip. Never had pineapple. I ask, and people just kind of shake their head like, let's not talk about that. But Cellarworks, good for them. Their first flavor was pineapple, which I kind of like their Moxie, but they've done a bunch since. Currently in the fridge, I have Tropical, and it's Tropicali. I don't know how to say that word. I'm not going to pretend I can pronounce E's with a little slash thing over them. But it is a 6% fruited sour, and it's one of these, again, the pastry sour or, super sugary fruited sours.
It's a treat.
Lactose is involved. It's, one of these days I'm going to freeze one and like chunk it out with a spoon and see if it tastes like ice cream. I'm pretty sure you could do that. They taste like ice cream, beer, ice cream beer. It's ridiculous, and they're not helping my teeth.
Yeah, I don't think any of these sugary ass beers are helping anybody's dental work.
No, these are not diet beers by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they're 6 or 7%. So you go, you get 4 deep, and you're like, well, I'm gonna call it a night now.
Well, that's good.
How fun it tastes.
All right, our final category for the evening is the flex round. And that's where you can just pick whatever. So now it's time to pick the one beer to just kind of round everything out. And who wants to go first on the flex round?
Mine's really boring. I'll go first. I'm taking Paint or Pigment, which was the first beer I drank this evening. And it is, as I previously gone into this evening, currently my favorite all-time beer. I don't know what is up with the Strata hops, but Dancing Gnome must have clearly locked up a contract, because I think Paint or Pigment came out 6 or 7 times so far in 2020. I don't know. I keep buying it. Like, I have it stockpiled for weeks. Like, hopefully it comes out in October or November, and then I should be all right. But otherwise, I'll run out. But I flex, whatever rounds out my fridge. Yeah, that's what rounds out my fridge currently is
Nice.
Paint or Pigment by the Gnome.
Right on.
Nice.
For me, my flex, looking at my fridge, I've already drafted a bunch of Fatty Boy time stuff, so I don't need to. And I also have IPAs in there with the 120 minute and the two-hearted. So my flex this year is going to go to the Schlenkerla Erbach. Just get a nice smoky Rausch beer in there.
Why am I not surprised there's a Rausch beer involved?
That's right. Papa needs a smoky beer.
Yes.
You. That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's not the most exciting answer, but it's obviously a beer that I'm going to drink a shitload of because I love that beer. I also love barbecue and bacon and chicken wings, and it goes with all of those things as well. Yeah,
That is what the flex beer is all about, my friend.
absolutely. Adam.
So for me, I kind of went a little bit of a different route because for me, the flex position is always something that you want to get as many points as you can as possible out of it. So I went for something that I know I'm going to get, a lot of use out of. And for me, I'm going to go with the Prairie Christmas Bomb.
Nice. I like it.
Damn dog.
I know, right? I mean, hey, you're going to get a lot of points with that one.
Yeah.
And I like that beer. Now, granted, you can't drink a lot of them, so there's not a lot of longevity there. That's a weird sentence to say, but it's gonna make a big splash. It's gonna have a couple of big splash plays. It's gonna give me a lot of points. And let's be honest, it's freaking delicious.
No, it's fantastic. Prairie is one of the ones. They're heavily distributed in Pittsburgh, which I love, and I'm not. They amuse the hell out of me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be honest with you. Like the whole attitude and thing they're putting out there is very interesting and kind of quirky, I suppose. But they make some fantastic fucking beers, man. There's a rainbow sherbet fruited sour.
Ooh.
And it tastes more like rainbow sherbet ice cream from those little fucking Cool Whip plastic containers than anything I've ever tasted since rainbow sherbet. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, hats off to Prairie Artisan Ales. What do they call themselves? Prairie Ales?
Yeah, Prairie Artisan Ales.
Yeah, good for them. I enjoy them, and I don't know how the fuck they made it to Pittsburgh from Oklahoma, but congrats, because that's great.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah. Probably one of the best things to come out of Oklahoma in a long time.
I can't think of anything else good from Oklahoma. I'm not from
Now, let's not just start shitting on Oklahoma.
Not hating.
They're going to rescind our prairie rations.
a weird, straight line on their state. It freaks me out. Like, if you've got a weird straight line sticking off the top of your state, I'm nervous already.
The damn panhandles.
Yeah, exactly. Quit it. All right. Well, that's the 2020 Fantasy Fridge Draft. If you would like to participate and submit your own Fantasy Fridge Draft, then just email us at hotnationusa@gmail.com and we'll check them out. And if we get enough submissions, maybe we'll do a contest or something. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah,
we'll give them a prize of some sort.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll hold a tournament or something. But
sure, why not?
Yeah. In the meantime, though, let's go back to Bill. And Bill, go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug. Obviously, we've talked already a lot that you're at CansPgh on Twitter, but if you have anything else.
I really don't. Twitter is the main place to find me currently. I still have the Instagram account. I haven't posted in a while. I kind of stopped because,
I was mainly pulling my posts from the Instagram posts of the breweries. And at this point, like, if you're following me, you're probably following Cinderlands and Hitchhiker and Dancing Gnome. And if you're not, then, like, I'll get back to it. Like, at some point, I'm going to start posting Instagram posts to say, like, you should probably go to Twitter and follow me because I'm not even posting over here. Nonetheless, at CansPgh, and I pretend it says at CansPittsburgh.com. I have the website, but I haven't posted since March, so don't go there. And currently, it'll tell you your browser is going to go through security bullshit or something. So, like, it's not a good idea. I'm not trying to get a virus, I swear to God, but it's just I haven't done anything. But maybe soon.
Right on. We also do not post frequently on our website, so we get it.
You guys post about like services for like handling your website. I'm about to contact your asses to make me a video or something. I'm like,
oh yeah.
my website.
Oh yeah, if you need any kind of video services or anything, I've got you.
We know a guy.
If you need any of that, I'm here for you. But
Very good.
if you want to follow what
I appreciate everything you guys do. Every time I post, anyone, but you guys are right there all the time and have been since the beginning. So that's awesome. And I really appreciate it.
Hey, we appreciate all the retweets and stuff we get from you as well, because you retweet stuff when we're just like talking about T-shirts and shit. So
no,
yeah.
Things continue. I may be headed towards the T-shirt glass market myself, so I'm right there with you. Right?
If you need a designer, I know a guy.
There we go. I like it. This is fantastic. You guys are great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here. It's awesome.
Yeah,
thanks for coming on.
You were able to come on board.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. You need someone, you let me know.
Right on. Well, if you want to follow us on social media, all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA, and that'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're on all of those with varying degrees of participation. We're mostly Twitter as well, though. But if you want to listen to brand new episodes of the Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should, then search Hop Nation USA on your favorite podcatcher. We're on Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever, wherever, Spotify.
CansCast.
Just fucking Google it, for Christ's sake. Like, it's not hard.
Just Google it, but when you Google it, make sure you include the USA, and that'll get you us for sure. We are the #1 result when you Google it correctly. But if you're on any of those platforms...
Put it on the screen, dude. Put it on the screen.
If you're on any of those platforms, though, leave a 5-star review because...
We are a 6-star show, but they only let us use 5.
And that's a bigger crime than bashing on Oklahoma for the last 5 minutes of the show.
Come on. I said I like prairie artisan ales.
I know, but when you say bad things about Oklahoma, the Thunder are going to try to take back our prairie rations.
There's like 15 people that live in Oklahoma or something.
I can't lose my double dunk, you guys. You got to quit it.
It's cool. Everything is cool.
I appreciate how quickly you pivoted over to self-preservation, Steve.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it's all selfish. It's never altruistic. It's all just like I can't lose double dunk. I can't lose Christmas bomb.
Shoot. Well, Bill, thank you again for coming on board. We greatly appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime.
My pleasure. Thank you guys so much. I sincerely appreciate the time. It was awesome. Good luck with everything.
Right back at you. And when Cans Philly kicks up, let us know.
No fucking way.
Cans Harrisburg.
No.
Cans Erie. You can
maybe Youngstown. Maybe Youngstown.
There we go. All right.
You can franchise these out. You don't have to do it yourself. You just franchise it out.
Sounds like a guy with way more motivation than I have. Let me be honest.
Look, the trick is that you just register all these domains on Twitter. You own them, but then you make other people buy them off you.
$5,000 a month.
And that's capitalism. All right. We'll see you guys next week with something new. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.